Well, I'll tell you, this automatic compost sifter has been a tremendous help this gardening season. It's allowed me to create copious amounts of humus-rich compost in just a matter of minutes. And primarily, the source of my compost is broken down wood chips. So I've been developing a food forest in my yard for the past 8 years now. And during that time, I've had several loads of wood chips delivered to the property. I've used those wood chips to mulch the entire landscape prior to planting and after planting, just to help to retain moisture in the soil and suppress weeds. But what happens is, over the years, those wood chips, with all the different leaves and everything else that's mixed in there, begins to break down. The soil food web comes in, the worms come in, they help to break everything down, there's castings deposited. And what you're left with is some beautiful humus soil with still some larger wood chips mixed in there. So here's how I go about starting a new garden bed, breaking ground in an area that hasn't yet had anything planted in it. The first step is to just do a surface rake and take off the nicer looking wood chips. I'll move those over to a nearby pathway, and just below that top surface you can see where everything started to break down now. And then using a shovel and a flathead works really good for this. I'll just start scooping that whole area out, excavating until I get to the native soil, which for the most part is clay. It's really hard to grow plants in, so having all this amendment, all this organic material to work into the soil, to condition over time, has worked out really well. So now I'm to the native soil, and I'm just going to dig my shovel in, not too deep. I do have some nearby plants. I don't want to dig into any roots. But you can see how the native soil here is very clumpy, a lot of clay. But even just having wood chips atop this native soil, it's actually conditioned the soil quite a bit. There's other areas in the yard that haven't had wood chips on them, and when I dig into it, the clay is much heavier, stickier. So here's everything that we excavated from the area, all this humus and wood chip breakdown, some native soil in there. Let this worm back into its bed. And now we're just going to quickly sift it out. You can see how efficient and ergonomic this whole process is. And now I'm just going to take the, excuse me, lady. Now I'm just going to take this compost and put it right back in the same spot we just harvested from. Now I'm just going to start to work in this compost with some of that native soil. It's important because you really don't want too much of a contrast when it comes to your garden beds versus the native soil. You want those roots to be able to just continually flow out of the garden bed. And if you just use really loose humus compost in a new garden bed, as soon as it hits those clay walls, it's going to slow down. Sometimes you can get a little bit of root rot. But this way we're already kind of introducing that native soil to the bed. We're also helping to amend that native soil with this new compost. So this bed is just going to get better and better every year. So after we got the compost all mixed in now, I'll just quickly go over with a bow rake and kind of break up some of the dirt clods. Then I'll level out the bed. Then I'll just do a quick surface rake and get any larger pieces of clay, any remaining wood chips. Level it out again. Then I'll go over it again, get a little deeper in there. That'll cause some of the larger pieces to surface again, and then I'll do another surface rake. And in no time, we got a beautiful bed, perfect for planting. This bed has been prepared good enough to do direct seeding. You can do transplants, whatever the case may be. And there really is no need at this point, since we've added so much organic material into the bed, to add any type of amendment or fertilizer. Whatever I plant in here is going to thrive and do great. And if you don't yet have a trommel, you could easily make yourself one of these little square sifters using some 2x4 and some 1/4-inch hardware cloth. Really easy to put together, gets the job done. But if you foresee yourself sifting quite a bit of compost and wood chips, I highly recommend getting yourself or building yourself a trommel. And so with that, I will leave a link to the trommel build video below this video in the description box, so check that out. Well, that's going to do it for now, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's video or found it entertaining in some way, I sure would appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't already, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel. New videos uploaded every week, sometimes every day, and I'm always updating you on all the different projects going on around here. So thank you so much. Until next time, this is Dan from plantabundance.com. Take care. I'll be talking to you again soon.